Now, the Rishi Sunak urging the right to come together. Rishi Sunak very much on the ropes here. We've seen those really quite stunning results. The swings in Wellingborough and in Kingswood to Labour, but also the rise of another party. We've mentioned it before. Obviously, I have a vested interest in that. Reform UK getting 13% and 10% respectively. This is a party that was polling at 2% not very long ago.
Yeah, and I think that's the exact sort of right word to use. What Reform UK have done is incredibly respectable in terms of getting such a high percentage of the vote. I also think that Rishi Sunak is 100% on the ropes, and I think that you can see that from these by-elections. They're sort of in this in-between of delusion where they think they're doing fine, stick to the plan, this is just...
The plan is working.
The plan is working. The plan is not working. What even is the plan? This idea...
Who's got the plan?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is the plan?
We've lost the plan.
Yes, we've lost the plan.
This idea that he's saying that this is a midterm by-election, these things happen. We're in the year that the general election is going to happen. This sort of delusional state that they're in, I think, is really concerning at this point.
You know, Sam, you're a libertarian. You believe in free will. You believe in all that stuff. So they're saying a vote for any other party other than the Conservatives is a vote for Labour. I would say that's terribly negative campaigning. And also, as one of our fantastic viewers said, the more you tell us what not to do, the more we're going to do it.
Which is an entirely respectable attitude, and one that I certainly support. I think there's a great deal of irony here in this situation, in that we have an electoral system in the UK that produces parliamentary majorities on minorities of the votes. And the Conservative Party have made hay out of this electoral system and benefited from this for the past 100 years, if not more. And suddenly they're in the position where they're in the same position that Labour and the Lib Dems and other left-wing parties have been in for all of those years. And so suddenly Rishi Sunak is having to talk about tactical voting, and actually in the 2015 election, the Conservatives ran a huge scare campaign, billboards scaring people about tactical voting.
Yeah, 70s.
They did, yeah.
In 2015, the big posters with Ed Miliband in Alex Salmond's pocket because they were worried about scaring people about a coalition. So they've run all these scare tactics about tactical voting, about coalitions. Now they're begging people to vote tactically. They could even be in a coalition. Well, they've been in a coalition basically with the DUP. They could be in with Reform after the next election. This is hugely ironic, but it shows we need a new electoral system.
It also shows one other thing to me, which is karma. You know, they're going back when the Reform Party, or Brexit Party as it was in those days, stood down to ensure that Brexit was passed to give the Conservatives an 80-seat majority, on the understanding that certain things were followed through, which weren't, and the Conservative Party reneged. And they're now coming begging back to the really newly reformed Brexit Party, saying, we need to have a coalition with you, which is what Sam is saying. And quite rightly, Richard Tice is furious about this. He's incandescent. I spoke to him the other day about it. And Richard Tice has rejected any talk of a deal and said Conservative MPs deserve to lose their jobs because, and I quote, of their woeful performance.
Yeah, he's come out and he's been quite brutal in his reprimanding for even suggesting such a thing. And I think it is fair in some ways. You know, you can't turn around and come begging back to that party once you're on the back foot again. And they are just losing more votes. I do think, though, when we look at these by-elections, there is something to say about Conservative voters not turning up to vote in them, and that turnout has been low, and that if you look and compare the 2019 in Wellingborough voter turnout and the one that we've just had at the moment, the votes for Labour have not actually changed that much. It's mainly the votes for Conservatives which have dropped so significantly.
So it's not a positive vote for Labour, is what you're saying?
It's not a positive vote for Labour, and I think that's what we're seeing quite often. I'm not sure how much people really believe in Labour and in Keir Starmer, and I think that if they do get into power, they're going to have some issues if people don't believe in their vision and if people aren't there necessarily backing them.
So we've got someone here, Dean Bryce says, put Farage in charge of the Tories, they win big, it's simple.
And there's
it's not that simple.
And also on the back of that, there's an article in one of the papers, The Times, this morning, saying the dream ticket is Farage and Johnson leading the Conservative Party. Is it?
I mean, yeah, dream ticket if you want to, run a culture war, but not the dream ticket.
Or maybe you win.
Well, certainly not the dream ticket for the country. I mean, these are
Boris is a libertarian. You must enjoy Boris's.
Boris is not a libertarian at all.
Yes.
Boris cut down on free speech and the right to express yourself more than any Prime Minister since the current Prime Minister. And Boris is the furthest possible thing from a libertarian. He just talks a good game. But I think the other thing that we're seeing here is that they're coming into harsh contact with reality. And the Conservatives' game has always been to say, oh, we're so competent, we're so good at the economy. And I remember thinking in 2011 when I was a student, they're saying, yes, we're going to fix the economy. And then they put the economy back into recession within a year of being in office. Theresa May let the economy stagnate. Liz Truss came in, crashed the economy. Rishi Sunak came in, put the economy into recession this week. And I think people eventually just telling people you're really good at something doesn't work. If you're really bad at it, and people are seeing that now.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. You know, we're sticking to the plan. What plan? Here's our plan. It's working. No, it's not. Look, here's the figures.